Welcome to a blustery but sunny Knockhill racing circuit for the first round of the 2015 Knockhill Motorsports Club Championships. In today's programme we are looking at the Scottish Superbikes. It's some of the fastest machines that we have here in Scotland and it always provides great close racing. Let's head down to the holding bay for the first race of the day. The first Superbike race of the 2015 season is about to begin under perfect racing conditions. It's quite cold, but we've just seen a lap record in the previous race, so this is basically ideal conditions for these machines. 1000cc bikes being the Superbike class, but they also run the 600 Supersport machinery within this class, and it's Tim Hastings who took 2 second places yesterday. Keith Moore winning yesterday. Keith not here today, so that leaves Tim as my favourite, not giving you the curse before you even head out there, but 2 really strong races yesterday on the 600 Supersport machine.
Yeah, I mean, just having a bit of fun, you know. It's obviously having to ride hard to try and keep Keith honest, but Bruce Burney, he's got his bike working now, so. And then you've got Andrew Tasker, he's quick. So, I mean, it shouldn't be a runaway, I'm still going to have to work hard. But, yeah, no, just enjoying it. Just playing with the bike into hairpin and sliding about, it's good fun.
Looking at the race yesterday, obviously these guys have got more power than you, but the advantage you've got is your bike is a little bit smaller and your corner speed is a lot higher. Watching you and Keith through the hairpin, you could see that he was having to stop the bike, and then the power he had on the exit and up the straight. I think he passed you on one lap like you were stopped, but through the corners you can carry a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, that race where you're talking about where he passed me on the straight, yeah, I suddenly realised how fast them thousands were. But the first couple of laps, yeah, I was almost felt like I was going to run into the back of him in corners, but thankfully, like, Keith had a good pace, and that's so he got that little gap, and I could then settle into my rhythm and use my advantage over the other thousands. But yeah, that's what I've got to do, is use the little complex bit through the back to my advantage to get enough of a gap by the time I hit the straight.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The layout here helps you because you've got that whole first part of the circuit where you can obviously pull away, but you need to be far enough ahead by the time you get to that straight bit so that the big powerful Superbike doesn't come past.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, yesterday in the first race, I was halfway around the hairpin and I looked behind me and I seen Keith just tipping in, and I thought, well, I've got enough, I should be ahead by the time I get to Duffus, and I had no chance. To be honest with you, I didn't even know who it was that come past me. I went past that quick. I knew it was one of the thousands, but I didn't know what it was. But yeah, it's good fun, you know, and it makes me have to work that bit hard on the opening laps to try and get that gap, which is a bit more interesting. I run the harder front compound, so I like to maybe take a couple of laps just to get the heat into it, whereas I haven't got that chance or that leisure, so now I need to just go and attack it straight away and try and get the gap.
I can't remember the last time we saw a 600 win the Superbike race. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Yeah, cheers.
There we go. Action all the way. Guaranteed in this class. I'll hand it to Dennis and Duncan and they will take us through the action.
Thank you very much, Joe Tanner. So we don't have a Keith Moore on the front row of the grid. Keith Moore, sorry. He's had enough. He done enough yesterday to prove the bike's fast enough for heading away to the northwest. So Tim Hastings, another man who's just come onto the scene back from British Superbike round. It's great to see him here, Dennis. He really is a bit of a class act, young Timmy.
Also mega to see Bruce Burney back there. He starts on row number 2.
Also mega to see the blue sky. Look at that.
Yeah,
lovely, isn't it?
For sure. We like to see the blue skies here at the Knockhill racing circuit. These guys getting lined up onto the grid, and
that's Niall Campbell there.
Yeah, new camera angle as well for the guys.
Yeah, I hope they pick that up. It'd be a disaster. Oh, there he is. There. It'd be a disaster if they left him sitting at the start of the race, wouldn't it?
You'd see Bruce Burney there in the blue bike on the right hand side of the screen. Keep your eye on Bruce. He was getting himself back into the swing of racing on short circuits yesterday. Left hand side, likes of Scott Shan, Jim Langley I can see as well, the number 7 bike.
Rumour has it Scott Shan's thinking about getting a Yamaha M1, an M1, an R1, sorry, an M1, yeah, that would be interesting. And the Carnegie Fuels BMW of Bruce Burney, look at him in a menacing pose there on the right of your screen. Just behind him, over his left shoulder, will be John Dean, but the grid is, front row of the grid, empty of Keith Moore. And let's see how this one gets underway. A massive grid of bikes here at Knockhill.
Yeah, also Richard Hughes and Sean Gilfillan starting at the back, but already away at the front. It looks like a good start from Bruce Burney, didn't it?
It was a cracking start. Red lights were on and off very quickly, but it's young Tim Hastings that leads down towards Duffus Dip for the first time of asking. Burney slots into second place. We go on board with Scott Robertson, which could be all action if he gets round the first corner. He does. We've got a good view of the bikes going through. Leslie's there, but back up at the front, Donald McFadden just slides past Scott Shand on the 155 bike as they come up and over the top of the Arnold Clark chicane and power up the back straight towards Clark for the first time of asking, and thankfully everybody through. And now the first time we've seen our pre-injected 600 champion from last year, Des Burns, on a superbike.
Yeah, for sure. Des has made the step up. I actually got Roy Houston's bike from last year, so he's on a good bike, and he's got to learn himself through. Scott Robertson here, you can see him, he's trying hard, running down towards the hairpin. I'm sure I was doing like 140 mile an hour there at one point, but it's Bruce Burney that's hit the front of his head of Tim Hastings.
Time to look at that. I was looking at the blue dot. There you go, over the crest of the hill, past the Tasker pit board. It's Burney from Hastings, from Campbell, from McFadden, and then Scott Shan, as the rest of the guys all come flying up over the crest of the hill. We watch Burney coming through Les's from the far side of the circuit. This is looking back from the Arnold Clark chicane, and what a cracking view. Look at the little 600 really close in on that BMW S1000R, which Burney has just taken this delivery off a new BMW this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. He's just got a new bike from Motorrad Central. They dropped it off, but Tim
Hastings up the inside. No, not to be. Burney just lays that right across the nose of young Tim Hastings.
And that's probably going to cost Tim drive on the run down towards the hairpin and give Bruce a little bit of breathing space and a bit of air under the back wheel there on the brakes into the hairpin.
Am I allowed to call him Twister? Can I get away with that? Or is it just Burnicle that gets away with that?
No, you're alright. But
right, okay.
Des Burns into the hairpin. You can see that bike moving around, brings it back to the apex, and again we disappear with the rest guys. Darren Ross there.
It could have been Chrissy Duncan in front of Darren Ross, and that won't go down too well if it was Chris Duncan. But out of the hairpin we go on with Scott Robertson. We jump back to a man that's not having the best of weekends. He's suffering from a kind of Danny Pedrosa-esque injury, and he'll like that. A bit of arm pump from Andrew Tasker, maybe a little bit too much Xbox back at home, but he's recovering well and he's getting back up here, but he's still in quite a bit of pain during and after the races, so good to see him even out there. But a man we've not spoken too much about, just ahead of Donald McFadden on the yellow bike, is Niall Campbell. He's here on the Supersport Evo bike, and he's tucked up in behind Tim Hastings. In fact, he's in a bit of no man's land right now, isn't he? Yeah,
for sure. We've got a good gaggle of riders here. We've got Scott Shan there in the old style Honda Fireblade, Duncan come through the hairpin, and behind him John Dean on a Suzuki 750, and that's a wide mixture of bikes at the sharp end of the field, but it's Bruce Burney that is the quickest man on that last lap round there. So Bruce into the low 51s at the moment, and these guys are going to get quicker and quicker, because we would say, I think Joe mentioned it earlier on, we saw a lap record in the previous race, but looking at the rear end of Graham Bedell is Scott Robertson as he comes up underneath the Beatson's Building Supplies Bridge. Yeah,
that was 130 odd mile an hour, but I was managing to focus on it that time, Dennis. Thanks for pointing at the screen. There's Hastings, thinks about going up inside into Clark's little 600's got good corner entry, good mid-corner speed, but the barber just lays it straight across the nose of that ZX6 Kawasaki.
You can probably see a little bit of frustration from Tim Hastings' side because of the big BMW 1000RR.
Watch him here. This is where he's quite excitable on the brakes, backs the thing in. He's getting held up with corner entry, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's got the likes of the Clark section of the circuit. He's carrying good speed through the Arnold Clark chicane up over the top, Duncan, but he's going in tight in towards Clark corner, and that's compromising his speed all the way down to the hairpin. So maybe he needs to hang back and try a different tactic to try and get the better of Bruce Burney.
Hastings through the left-hander, that is Leslie's, in towards the right-hander of Scotsman, and Dennis points at the computer screen, and that's a quick lap from Burney.
Yet down to a 50.698, so 50.7 second lap last time round by Bruce Burney, but likewise
look at Hastings. Look at Hastings. Hastings really quick through chicane that time, decides not to have a go, and he's done 50.7 on the last lap then, so that's pretty hot.
Yeah, no, these guys are not messing about at all, but we can see Bob Storrow there just coming up over the top.
Paul Marshall, the other bike, is Burney's got that thing on the nose as he heads towards the hairpin. You see the back wheel was in there. Hastings has I don't know what that was. It was like a kind of a move at the side of Burney, but not to be. The little 600 loses a little bit there, but look at Donald McFadden also got himself ahead of Neil Campbell up at the third place now.
Yeah, also Andrew Tasker starting to look a little bit more menacing than we saw him yesterday, Duncan, as again we go through the top in towards the left of Les's here. A really tricky part of the circuit, Duncan, as you're on the brakes in towards Scotsman corner again. Pick the bike up early, use the curb on the exit as a drop in towards Butchers.
Bike at the side, as you point out, that looked a white bike parked at the side. Was that possibly Robert Wilson? We lost him very early on. If it was a bit of a shame for losing our guy that does the TT along with Keith Moore, Robert Wilson, and hopefully Robert Solkane can get that fixed and get back out as we wait to pick the guys up coming round towards the hairpin. These two have broken away from the third place man, which is now Donald McFadden ahead of Neil Campbell. It looked like Tasker was going to have a shot in Neil Campbell, but not to be.
Just picking up on Sean Gilfillan coming from the back of the field, Duncan. He's already through into 10th place, so starting last, already up to 10th place and putting in respectable lap times as we look at the back of Des Burns, charging down towards a hairpin once more, and looking like he's getting used to that bike all the time.
Yeah, watch the speedo on this bike here if you can keep your eyes on it amongst the key fob there, up to 100, 110, 120, 130. Is he brave, Dennis? Well, he's braver than me anyway, that's for sure. We'll get him to take the key fob up next time. Look a little bit more racy as he goes over the crest of the Arnold Clark chicane. That is Bruce Burney on the Carnegie Fuels BMW. Tim Hastings starting to lose the toe just a little bit now.
Yeah, looks like he's just dropped back slightly over that, but Bruce Burney's keeping the lap times consistent. He's down into the 50.7 every lap for the past 3 laps, Duncan, but likewise has Tim Hastings as they come down in towards a hairpin once more. And
Hastings is going to have to do something, isn't he? He's going to have to really put a spurt on here, because Burney's doing consistent 50.6, 50.7, a couple of 50.8s there, so Hastings has got to do. He's got to go for it here as he go over the crest of the hill.
Paul Marshall's about to come under the cosh of these guys, and he won't know anything about it until Bruce Burney slides up the inside.
I thought Burney was going to just let the brake off and run in, but he's running too hot there. Now that's going to give Hastings a shot. He's going to have to come round him here. Hastings right back on Burney, up the inside of Burney. That's like a block pass, and he gets through. Good bit of opportunistic riding from young Twister Hastings here to get past the canny veteran of Bruce Burney. Bruce Burney was just being a little bit too kind there. If that had been a couple of years ago, Burney would have lifted him at the top of Duffus.
Yeah, to be sure that, Bruce, he's just getting back into the swing of things with short circuit racing. We've seen him away. He's been doing the roads. He's been away to the Scarborough. He's been doing Northwest 200, things like that. But looks like Bob Storr is going to be the next man under attack from Tim Hastings. But Bruce Burney isn't letting Tim Hastings pull away in the brakes at this part of the circuit.
Yeah, I was quite surprised with that. So we're going to see Bruce Burney come out with the hairpin. So join us after the break for the end of this Superbike race. So welcome back as we see Timmy Hastings still in the lead. In fact, Bruce Burney just powers past on straight line speed and performance of the Carnegie Fuel BMW to get past young Tim Hastings. Hastings worked so hard to get back in tow and used the back marker, but look at the corner entry speed of that little 600, Dennis, as he gets in towards Scotsman through Butchers over the nice new resurfaced patch at the base of Butchers, and Bob Storer is about to go under the cosh of the leaders.
Yeah, like I say, he won't know anything about it until all of a sudden the pier up the inside. It's already happened.
It's happened immediately.
But back on board with Scott Robson, quite a gaggle of clubmans all together here. Don't think we've got Rodney Scott, Gavin Jones and Kenny Patterson all in the mix, but we're back with Bruce Burney at the front as a charge down towards the hairpin, and McFadden looks like he's getting closer and closer all the time, and Campbell and Tasker are having their own scrap further back down the field.
Cameraman had a wobbly moment there, we shall say. Last lap flag. This is the important part as to go over the crest of the hill. Burney has now stretched out on that BMW. He's got himself a nice comfortable lead there as we look from the other side of the circuit going through Leslie's, and we pick up the guys further back down. There goes Burney through, and that was a white bike on its side. That's Tim Hastings. The bike careers across the road. Hastings folds the front going through Leslie's. Dennis, he's okay, gets to his feet, looks for the Kawasaki. It's over the other side of the road, and that's going to have dragged debris and grass across the track with it there.
Yeah, for sure. We look back for a split second at Neil Brown and Alan Bryce, but Don McFadden was closing on the back of Timmy Hastings, and he was pushing on hard. As again we've got Jim Lang, Alan Bryce, there's Tim Hastings running across the track. The Marshall's recovering his bike, and the circuit doesn't look too bad. We're keeping this race going at the moment under waved yellows.
Great job by the safety marshals at the side of the track. They're recovering Tim Hastings and his bike as we see the rest of the guys going through, but it's going to be Bruce Burney who takes a checker flag, and it's going to be Donald McFadden who inherits second place, and Neil Campbell gets himself on the podium with third. But Bruce Burney,
a big stand-up wheelie from Donald McFadden up over the top there, looked pretty impressive just as he disappeared off camera. That's standard for Donald. So Bruce Burney, he'll be not aware that Timmy Hastings at the side of the track here. This will be the first time seeing him. Gives Timmy a nice big long look, does it? Yes, he does. And you could see that the muck and the debris, like you say, going across the circuit there, but thankfully not affecting anything at the end of that one. Bruce Burney from Donna McFadden and Neil Campbell with Andrew Tasker, John Dean, Scott Shand, and what a ride from Sean Gill Fillenden. Yep, for sure, coming through from the back of the grid ahead of Darren Ross, Jim Lang and Neil Brown. Then we had Alan Bryce and Christopher Duncan.
Neil, third place. It was going to be fourth. Tim there lining himself up for a move for the lead on the last lap. Dropped his Supersport bike, unfortunately, which put you on the podium, but a great result considering you're in amongst some pretty powerful machinery.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, we're on the 600, so it's easy to get around the corners, but it was a little bit on the straight. But yeah, it's good fun keeping up with the guys. It's kind of fortunate they fell off. Hope he's okay, but yeah, I'll take third place when it comes.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I saw him getting up and scurrying away a bit frustrated. It was almost as if he was lining up a move on Bruce for the lead there, but still a great result. Can we see you pushing for a win this afternoon?
Yeah, potentially. We might stick a new tyre on the rear, see how it goes.
There's rain forecast.
Yeah, not looking forward to that. So hopefully it stays dry and we'll push for the win.
Well done.
Thank you.
Donald, a great result, pole position yesterday, and I know yesterday when Keith was here you were a little bit frustrated to be back in third position, but now we're up to second and I can predict a Donald win today at some point.
Yeah, hopefully. I was getting better starts yesterday. I didn't get off as good today. The bike, the clutch grabbed and wheelied a little, but once I got my finger out and I started calming down and putting laps together, I caught up with them, but there's, I need to be away with them right at the start.
Do we need to get you angry before you go out there? You seem to take a couple of laps to get into it.
I'm still waking up, I think, so maybe after lunch will be better.
Good stuff, Donald. Well done.
Thank you.
Bruce Burney, it's been a while, but a Superbike win. Fantastic to see. I thought Tim was going to throw one up the inside because he was almost waiting until he dropped it there on the last lap, unfortunately.
He certainly was. I was waiting for him to make a move on us, but it never happened, But as I come over in the warm-up, the last cool-down lap, there's his bike lying on the side. So it's a shame about that, but big thanks to Carnegie Fuels. Awesome bike they supplied with BMW, and I just can't believe after 2 years we come back and we get a cheeky number one. I like that a lot. And what more can I say? Let's get this next race over with, and I'll be speaking to you again, hopefully.
You told me you were expecting him to launch it up the inside of the hairpin, but then what was the phrase you used on the exit towards the line?
Well, I was good with that. If he was going to be trying any of the antics, I just released the power on the big boy, and the Carnegie Fuels power and the fuel would have seen us over the line. I'm sure of it.
Well done, Bruce.
Thanks very much.
Bruce Burney, Superbike race winner. I'm here with Des Burns, pre-injection 600 champion from last year, stepped up to the big bikes, the Superbike class, or the Super Stock bike, the number 67 machine. It's not Shane Byrne. Just as quick though.
I wish I was quick as Shane Byrne now. Left the pre-injection last year, decided I wanted to get a wee shot in the big bikes, so I've jumped onto Clubman this year. Thoroughly enjoying it. It'll take me a wee bit to get the hang of the bike, but I'm getting there in the end. I'm getting a wee bit of help for all the boys. They've been really helpful with the setup for the bike. Obviously it was Roy Houston's bike.
I was going to say, it's proven, isn't it? We know what you're dealing with because it is the championship winning bike effectively.
Yeah, that's right. So obviously Roy's maybe a stone and a half lighter than me, and I'm just trying to get a setup that I'm happy with. I just can't lay the power on as quick as Roy used to because the bikes just want to wheelie everywhere. So Donald helped us a wee bit there with the setup, so I'm going out to try it in this one, so it'll either go for me or against me in this next race. So
it's a great class. We've got the quick boys at the front. We had Keith Moore here yesterday, the real professional guys fighting at the front, but the Clubman class as well. You're not too far off the pace, and it's a good mix of guys, a good battle.
It is, yep, especially when these guys like Keith went by us yesterday, and it's amazing to watch the speed that these guys are getting into the corners at, and I can only dream about going at that speed. But
6 months there, you'll be doing the same.
4.
Good luck with this one. Let's see a win.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Thanks.
Race number 2 for the Scottish Superbikes is almost ready to go, and again conditions continue to be pretty much perfect. It's a little bit blustery, but it's pretty good racing conditions. And we'll speak to 179 Andrew Tasker, a man we spoke to a lot last year, current Scottish Superbike champion, but not the best start to 2015 so far.
No, definitely not. We're lucky to be on the grid, to be honest. Broken 2 engines so far in about 3 weeks. A lot of help from a lot of people have put us back on the grid. Just here to salvage some points, do my best and see how it goes.
Just a case of trying to bring it home. You've been kind of 3rd, 4th yesterday and away down in 9th this morning, just trying to make a damage limitation of it.
Yeah, we had a big problem in the race yesterday. We finished 9th. Started from the 3rd row this morning, ended up 4th or 3rd or 4th or whatever it was, so starting back on the front row this time, so looking forward to it.
Have a good one.
Thanks, buddy.
Let's swing around. I want to have a real quick one with Donald McFadden on the 55 machine. Donald for me is the nearly man. He qualified on pole position with this machine yesterday. He's got the pace, but when it comes to the race, he just says, he admits himself, he just can't seem to get going quick enough. I'm going to leave him to it. He's in the zone there. I'll hand this one to Dennis and Duncan, and they'll take us through the 2nd Superbike race.
Thank you very much, Joe Tanner in the garages there. So let's see if Tim Hastings can convert this front row to an actual race finish and possibly a race winner. Well, Donna McFadden, Andrew Tasker, John Dean, or the rest of the guys all have something to say about it. Bruce Burney, great to see him back, Dennis. Great to see him on the top step.
I'm definitely happy about that one, wasn't he? He was smiling there at the end and showing off to the camera.
Did he stick his tongue out?
I believe he did. But yeah, we'll see how they get on this time. Again, conditions absolutely perfect out there for the Knockhill Motorsports Club, Scottish Superbikes and Sherlaw's Clubman categories.
Yeah, first Sherlaw's bike home in the last race, I noticed, was Darren Ross, and there's a big team rivalry with Darren Ross and Chris Duncan. And Chris Duncan out there in the 600, isn't he? And Darren Ross on the big ZX10.
Just interesting to note the winner in terms of the clubman in the previous race, Duncan, we'll just go further down, was Christopher Duncan from Des Burns and Richard Hughes.
So that looked like Donna McFadden was rolling up into pole position there. And we shall get underway. Donna McFadden, Hastings and Tasker, your front row of the grid, with Shand, Dean and Neil Campbell, the second row of the grid. Thanks for pointing that out to me there, Dennis. You keep me right, pal.
No worries, we'll try here, but these guys now look like they've been lined up. The green flag is being waved at the back of the grid, so we're now under starters orders. Bob Davies, is he going to keep it a short style? Is he going to keep them long?
He's got
we'll
his
find out.
Finger on the button. We'll see the lights and the beats in his building supply bridge on. And how long is he holding them for? Off they go. That was quite a long hold. Look at the start from John Dean from the second row of the grid. It looks like he could possibly have some sort of hole shot as we go on board with Des Burns down towards Duffus Dip, and Des leans the big Kawasaki back to an apex there, and then we get a face full of Tasker, and that's a Neil Campbell on the outside with a bit of a dangly leg there, but it is John Dean with that hole shot. That was an impressive start. Or have we got a Donna McFadden even further up the road?
Possibly, but
yes.
Yeah, Donna McFadden. Bruce Burney also coming from row number 3. Then we've got Scott Shand there in 4th place, Neil Campbell in 5th, Andrew Tasker 6th. Then it's Darren Ross ahead of Christopher Duncan as they go through the Clark section of the circuit. Alan Bryce not far behind. I think it's Neil Brownley's following there.
Yeah, most of these guys have stayed in position apart from John Dean's kind of jumped up. Timmy Hastings now takes the front and he comes in towards the first hairpin, and out of the corner he goes. Tim Hastings, glad that they've got that bike back together. I did hear a little birdie tell me that they drove all the way back to Edinburgh to pick up an exhaust to come all the way back. So.
Well, like you say, he's been on the floor in the previous race, but he's back to the front there already. And this race, incidentally, Duncan, starting from the qualifying positions of yesterday, we've been the Scottish Championship race. That's why it's a little bit mixed up.
This man here's impressing me. Sean Gilfillan, wearing his brother Greg Gilfillan's leathers and confusing the life out of me riding a bike that they both share. But he is impressing me today over the course of the weekend. In fact, Dennis, he's come from the back and he's really putting in some great lap times as Tasker gets a good run on Shand. Can he get past Scott Shand, the old veteran, in towards Clark's? And Scott Shand won't like me saying that, but I'm sorry, mate, I just did. Tasker makes a good move into Clark.
Yeah, for sure, he's picking up the position, but look at the front, it's already stretched open, hasn't it? Tim Hastings, Don McFadden, Bruce Burney.
Yeah, Burney on a
something fell off a bike there.
Was that a bobbin or a foot peg or a hand up? Something wrong with Tim Hastings. Hastings heads for the pit lane. Now, what came off a bike there? What would that be, Dennis?
It looked almost like a footrest or something like that, but we saw something fly off as Bruce Burney hits the front,
Burney goes to the front and Gilfillan goes up the inside of Darren Ross on the way in towards Duffus Dip, so another place chalked off for Sean Gilfillan. I will call him Greg through the course of this because he's wearing his brother's leathers. I will get confused, but if that was a foot peg coming off Hastings' bike, is that possibly something from the previous accident damage?
It's probably something that repaired after he fell off through Leslie's in the previous race, trying to chase down Bruce Burney and hold off Donald McFadden. And pretty unusual. Obviously, it happened on the way into the hairpin. We saw something fly across the camera screen, and straight away he realised something was wrong and came into the pit lane. So, hats off to Tim for doing that and keeping it nice and safe. But Bruce Burney has started up this rivalry with Don McFadden once more, and already kicked off his season with a win here today. And like I say, yesterday he was trying to chase around Keith Amor, but actually going faster than what Keith was doing yesterday. So that's great stuff. These guys are putting in hot paces at the moment.
Yeah, Keith will wait to get himself ready for further road racing, but Neil Campbell, they're doing a little bit of the leg dangle in towards Duffus Dip. Why not join us after a break and we'll find out the conclusion of this race.
Welcome back, and with Neil Campbell coming through the top of the Arnold Clark chicane there from Scott Shand and Greg Gilfillan. In fact, Sean Gilfillan, it's you that set me off with the wrong name charge here. And ahead of Darren Ross through the Clark section of the circuit. He's out there on a ZX10, Duncan. He's not rode that bike before today. Well, Sean Gilfillan.
Is he not doing the Ducati Tri-Options Cup? We used Tasker goes up the inside of John Dean at the hairpin, and John Dean had absolutely nowhere to go. It was like a locomotive coming past him there.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Sean Gilfillan, GSG Racing there, he's taking part in the Ducati Tri-Options Cup along with his brother, both doing a really good job. They've been to Brands Hatch and Oldham Park, coming up shortly for these guys as they go through the top of Duffus there in towards the left of Leslie's and then back on the brakes. So it's John Dean before, and they're looking at the back of Andrew Tasker.
Yeah, it's good to see Andrew Tasker even out there, to tell you the truth. He was, you see the scars on the inside of his arm. He's been operated on, so he's still feeling it though. And here comes Neil Campbell up to the back of John Dean now. Tasker's next man in target, Don McFadden. And I've got to say, I think Don was just that little bit too far up the road for him to have a shot at Bruce Burney. Bruce Burney, where has this young man got this energy from this weekend?
I don't know, but he's setting some hot pace out there at the moment as we...
I've got to say, that's not as good as looking at Sammy's leathers, but that's another story altogether, Dennis.
Yep, we'll keep it going with that one, Duncan. But Neil Campbell there, he's at the back of John Dean and also chasing down Andrew Tasker. Neil Campbell taking part in the British Championship racing as well, Duncan.
He is. Neil Campbell and Matthew Powell, two of the guys in the Scottish kind of side of things for the BSB, the Super Sport stuff. They're doing Evo, and it's great to see them out there. It's good that they come back and do a bit here when they come back. They always get those little 600s right in the middle and annoy the life out of the big guys.
Yeah, we'll look at Alan Bryce here behind Chrissy Duncan as they go through in towards Scotsman, charging down in towards the top of Butchers now. Into the Arnold Clash again.
Dangerous written all over it. These two tied together on the track, isn't it? Little Chrissy Duncan.
Good to see Alan Bryce back because he reversed direction, Duncan. This part of the circuit now ended up in the tyre wall and hurt his ankle at the end of last season. But back out there, going as fast as he's ever gone, I believe. He's put his personal best lap time in. And there's that Richard Hughes further back of them as well as they come down towards the hairpin.
Another quick man, Richard Hughes, is really getting the hang of things as Chrissy Duncan backs that little 600 Kawasaki in. And it's not that slow in a straight line, but mind you, Chris Duncan weighs about the weight of boxer matches, so he's not very heavy, and Alan Bryce tries to power past him.
It hooks up out the hairpin, it's wheeling all the way up over the top, he's off the side of the thing, and Chrissy Duncan doubling up with the Superstock 600 as well, Duncan, so he's keeping himself nice and sharp.
He'll have to be nice and fit. The Superstock class is a pretty awesome class to be involved in, and they're hard racing all the way through. But we're keeping our eyes on these two guys going through Butchers. Alan Bryce seems to be slower on the straights and faster through the twisty parts than Chris Duncan, which he shouldn't really be on the big bike.
Yeah, madness to say, but these guys still putting in respectable lap times. Just see what these guys done on the last lap there, both in the 52-second bracket. There's Neil Campbell up the inside of John Dean, nearly took his front wheel away, didn't he?
Yeah, Neil Campbell on the Complog bike. It used to be the Bob Grant kind of team there, but there's your man Gilfillan, Sean Gilfillan just going up the main straight. I'll say it just because you said it, Dennis, to make you feel better.
No worries, we'll let you off, but the next man on the target of Neil Campbell is Andrew Tasker, and he's closing in, he's looking menacing, and Andrew Tasker just can't live with the pace of Bruce Burney and Don McFadden. The leading two have kind of pulled away and they're in their own separate battle because Burney's got a decent gap and McFadden's also got a decent gap over Tasker.
Graham Waddell at the hairpin. Graham Waddell, who's been doing a little bit of hot track racing as well, got himself a BMW, finally got himself shoehorned off the Ducatis which he was on for so long, and finding out that bike's quite quick, and that's Rod Scott who's just gone past him there, and Scott Robertson just behind him. And Rod Scott in his first year of racing as well, and the ex-Ice Valley, I think it's an ex-Peter Hickman bike he's on.
Yeah, Paul Smith supplied bike, but it's Gavin Jones that was leading that little battle on track there as we see Paul Marshall and Bob Storer.
Here comes your race leader under the Beatsons Building Supply Bridge. Second place is still Donna McFadden, so Burney and leading the way, but Luke Tasker has now got Neil Campbell homing in on that yellow 600, number 44. Neil Campbell will absolutely have a go at Andrew Tasker, there's no getting away from that. He's just got to try and home into the back here, use the little corner speed, the advantage that 600 has got through the twisty part. And look, he's caught up with Tasker already. They're going to get onto the faster part and Tasker will probably end up squirting away. But there's also going to be a couple of back markers coming into it now. You can see Bruce Burney, Don McFadden already passed one of them as they head towards the hairpin, but Tasker's right well through the twisty parts.
Yeah, no, it looks like he's doing not too bad as we see Sean Gilfill, and then we've got Scott Shan further back of them as they come through. Last lap flag out, Duncan.
Yep, last lap here at Knockhill, a little bit blustery wind blowing the guys up the main straight. Burney takes that last lap flag, and it looks like the Barber is going to make this 2 out of 2, coming all the way from Montrose on the Carnegie Fuels BMW. Look at the nice style of Bruce. He's not really animated on the bike, is he? He's kind of almost, I'm not going to say Halewood-esque because that would be a bit wrong, but he just doesn't move off it too much, doesn't dangle anything.
A little bit like John McGuinness, but just a slightly different style at the top end of his body as we go through the top of the Arnold Clash again for the final time for Bruce, and he makes it look smooth, he's looking easy, he's back in, he's the only guy sub 51 seconds out there.
Yeah, 50.9, a good comparison there, because John McGuinness and Bruce both do a bit of the road racing, so we know that Bruce will be going to the northwest fairly shortly, but into the hairpin. He's going to make it 2-2, and it's lovely how you can see the face through that helmet there as he comes out. Big long look over his shoulder just to make sure he's not on either side, and the Carnegie Fuels BMW wins and makes it 2-2 with a monster wheelie. McFadden's going to be second place, and Bernie looks absolutely delighted. Look at that for a standard issue wheelie from Donald McFadden, standing up all the way over the start finish line, with Andrew Tasker coming home third. Neil Campbell, John Dean and Sean Gilfillan are your top 6.
Yep, Scott Shan there, Darren Ross, Christopher Duncan, winner of the Clubman Battle again, once more ahead of Alan Bryce, Neil Brown and Richard Hughes. So a great race there at the front.
Bruce Burney, Superbike winner, the big dog is back. It's like we're back in time 3 or 4 years here. Dominant performance.
Yeah, fantastic, you know. 2 years since it was last year, and what a weekend I'm having. Very poor qualifying through a little mishap with the bike having an injector problem, which was surely my fault, and come through, and yeah, fantastic. There wasn't enough laps there. I was enjoying myself so much. What can I say? Big up Carnegie Fuels. That's all I can say. I wouldn't be here without them, and all you guys is just fantastic, but brilliant. I can't believe well, I do actually. I never doubted myself, and I proved it to myself and everybody else.
Well done, brilliant to see. Let's bring in Donald. Donald, in you come.
Morning, Don Bye.
Donald, second place in that one. I thought it was going to be yours, but Bruce just started to gap you there.
He's just got the wee edge of me this time, but maybe next time.
Exactly.
Well done, guys. Great entertainment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Andrew, we said before damage limitation, but that was exactly what you needed. Third place, a great result considering what you're up against, that you almost weren't even here.
Yeah, a lot of issues. I genuinely can't thank Stuart YP enough.
Or Duncan Vincent here, our circuit commentator, thanks to him.
Yeah, it's all thanks to Stuart I'm here, Mum and Dad. Can't thank everybody enough, but I'm still struggling a lot with the arm I had surgery on. We'll try and work on something, go and get it fixed up, but as I said, can't thank everybody enough, and now it's snowing, so
unbelievable weather.
How much more typical Knockhill can you get? So we'll go and get the snow tyres out.
Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Superbike race number 3 on the Sunday. Here is the final race of the weekend. We've had great action. We've got the 179 machine of Andrew Tasker struggling with his engine issues, but he's done pretty good with the damage limitation. He was up on the podium for the last one. Donald McFadden 55. Like I said before the previous race, he's been the nearly man. Pole position yesterday, but hasn't strung together that win yet. You won't mind me saying that, Donald. I called you the nearly man there. Not quite strung together a win today.
No, just not coming together, but we're near the front, so
it's where you need to be in the big picture, looking at points.
yeah, I suppose. But I will try and get a win in this one, but if not, then there's always next time.
Who's the biggest threat?
I'll be Brucey.
Bruce Burney. Bruce is on a bit of a bounce. He won the previous 2 races. I'm going to hand this one to Dennis and Duncan, and they'll take us through the final Superbike race of the day.
Well, thanks for that, Joe. As we come back to the grid here, it's Bruce Burney on pole position from Donald McFadden and Andrew Tasker. Then we've got Neil Campbell, John Dean and Sean Gilfillan. Duncan, throughout the course of the day, these guys have been getting quicker and quicker. Absolutely perfect conditions out there, and let's see if we can have a great race to finish the day for these boys.
Yeah, it should be interesting here. As you can see, the sun is still shining. Everybody will have the shorts on and the sun cream on just because the sun's out. And let's see, can Bruce Burney, can he make this 3 out of 3?
Potentially we can see Sean Gilfillan there, left hand side of the screen. Next to him is Andrew Tasker, the all black bike. John Dean in the middle there, just trying to see Neil Campbell. You can tell that one nice and easy, the yellow bike there. Then Bruce Burney far right hand side, all by himself.
Let's pick a winner, ruin somebody's day.
Well, to be fair, you can't bet against Bruce Burney. You know, he's been away from the short circuits for a couple of years. He's come back. It was really fast yesterday. and today he's been unstoppable. So we'll see what happens. That's a good camera view from Andrew Tasker. That's a better view.
That's better. That's more attractive. Yeah, thank you very much. So looking at the guys, lights on the bridge. Lights off, we can all breathe now and down towards Duffus Dip for the first time of asking. Kind of good start from everybody. And look at Alan Bryce, where has he come from? Alan Bryce up to the back of Tasker. I saw Sean Gilfillan, and that's a menacing rain cloud with a few spots on that camera lens. So that's interesting for the start of this race. But Sean Gilfillan, look at that, what a cracking view back there from Andrew Tasker, right into the dark visor of number 72 as they go over one curb, over the second curb, and then get hard on the gas and pick it up the back straight. Neil Brown with a good start up behind the two Shirlaws bikes. That's Chris Duncan, who's behind Darren Ross. A bit of an intake of breath as Darren went for a shot at Alan Bryce there.
Yeah, Des Burns also making up the position as he went in towards Clark Corner there on that opening lap, Duncan, but down the hairpin it is Bruce Burney leading the way from Don McFadden. Donald looking up the inside.
Donald, where are you going? He's through. Donald McFadden makes the move on Bunny, and Bunny will be thinking, this is not in the game plan. Where'd you come from, young man? Up the main straight they go. McFadden leads, and you can see that the bigger bike just stretching its legs over the little 600 there, and also Sean Gilfillan passes Neil Campbell. And is he going to make that stick as they go through Duffus Dip? We'll hopefully catch that on the camera in just a second or two.
But Burney back to the front as well, straight past Donald McFadden. So Bruce Burney has gone through. He's now leading the way once more, and the George Street Barber is definitely doing the job. I tell you what, John Dean hanging in pretty well at the back of Donald McFadden at the moment with Andrew Tasker, and then we've got Campbell. But let's see what happens in this final race after the break. Welcome back, and it's Bruce Burney leading the way from Donald McFadden still. John Dean is there in third place, and he's under a lot of pressure, is John Dean. Andrew Tasker has woken up this weekend now, hasn't he? He got into the podium in the last race for the first time.
He's passed him before he even got to the brakes. They're using the power of that big YPE Stuart Young Kawasaki, but John Dean, yeah, he's like a little terrier, isn't he? He might pass him in the straight and I'll go right past you on the brakes, but then Tasker again back on the power. And while all this is happening, you can see the speed difference here, the 750 against the 1000cc. Can't the 750 come back on the brakes? Andrew's pretty strong on the brakes anyway, and look at Sean Gilfillan still hanging in there behind Neil Campbell. Campbell now wants a shot at John Dean as he goes through Leslie's. He's going up the inside of the Scotsman. Good move, Neil Campbell. Beautiful move, executed absolutely perfectly, and he's now got eyes on the back of Andrew Tasker. Dennis, you're kind of giving him a thumbs up there as well.
Yeah, he even just had a little bit of room on the exit there. Could have used the curb a little bit more if he needed to, but he was definitely through there nice and easy. He's dropping the foot there. He was doing that quite a bit there, so he's obviously comfortable with that new style that he's picking up. Obviously watching the likes of Rossi and Cal Crutchlow. But it is Bruce Burney that stretched the lead at the front. Obviously Tasker's arms are feeling okay at the moment because he's right in the back wheel of Don McFadden, and Campbell is looking menacing, but likes of Gilfillan as well. He's starting to come back through and he wants to get past John Dean.
Yeah, can Campbell kind of get to the back of Tasker? Will Tasker's arms hold up to it? That's one of the kind of interesting points of see the rest of the guys for their yellow flag. Yellow flag just pops out with the start line there. Now, has somebody gone missing at Duffus Dip? Or has somebody lost it on the main straight and pulled over? Up the inside goes Neil Campbell. Doesn't even take a minute to think about it. Straight past there.
I hope there was a green flag out there. So
I was thinking that as well.
Burney is away. It's Don McFadden that's now under a lot of pressure from Campbell and Andrew Tasker. And then a little bit further back of them, John Dean has still got the better of Sean Gilfillan at the moment. And Campbell looking stylish as he goes through the Clark section of the circuit. But Bruce Burney, last lap round, looking again a 50.998. So the only guy to be lapping under the 51 second bracket at the moment.
And Tasker was thinking about having a shot at Neil Campbell there, but Campbell very late on the brakes, and that little 600 drives really well at the corner. He's got that thing hooked up well. And Sean Gilfillan now, just a little bit on his own, but ahead of, no, still behind John Dean just now.
You can see some of these guys getting pit boards and pit signals. Duncan, other them will have family members there telling them what's going on, just giving them the thumbs up, or whether they've got a little bit of a gap. But we've got this leading 5 or 6 riders, and then we've got a big gap back towards Darren Ross and Christopher Duncan. It's a battle of the Shirlaws guys for the further places down this field.
I'm just about to say there, look at the lean angle of Neil Campbell as he goes through Scotsman Corner. It's right on its side. It's almost elbow skimming the tarmac as young man's got good style, good flair, that's for sure. Bruce Burney comes into view. Donald McFadden, Neil Campbell, Andrew Tasker. Donald's going to have to get a wriggle in here, because the young Campbell with the leg trailing in towards the hairpin there has adopted that new style, and it's working for him, that's for sure, Dennis. As they come through and up the main straight, that 600 is screaming up the hill. You can hear the engine noise, completely different from the big 1000cc bikes.
You've got to think as well, Bruce Burney, Don McFadden, both these guys will be heading away to the Northwest 200. and you never see Don McFadden out of shape, putting a foot wrong. He always looks smooth and in control, and especially on the brakes in towards a hairpin. Whereas you look at the contrasting style of Neil Campbell, he's all over the bike, he's throwing it left, right and centre, trying his absolute hardest to wring every last bit of horsepower of it. But Donald, like you say, nice, smooth, easy style. We mentioned it earlier on, maybe Bernie a little bit like John McGuinness, but probably more so Donald McFadden for that matter.
Looking back from Andrew Tasker now, unfortunately there's nobody behind him. The battle is in front, but we can see the bike. Oh, look at that, he just powers straight past Neil Campbell, and Campbell's going to repay the compliment on the brakes at the hairpin, and I'm pretty sure he does, yes. So that's one of these yo-yoing effects that the 600 and the 1000cc have around Knockhill.
As a matter of interest, who would get the better drive to the start-finish line? Would that 600 beat Andrew Tasker at the start-finish line from the hairpin?
We've got to remember the start-finish line, finish line of the race before the actual crest of the hill. So possibly we'll have seen in previous races the 600s if they get good. Oh, Campbell goes down. Well, we're talking. Neil Campbell folds the front going through Scotsman and does a beautiful little triple salco towards the end of it. Gets up. Quick look at the bike, not want to have anything to do with that. You're on your own, mate. Campbell struts away towards the inside. What a disaster for Neil Campbell there. He was really riding well.
He was pushing the levels of grip. He's trying to figure out what has gone on. As we look at Des Burns here coming through Butchers in towards the chicane, but I'm not sure what he'll be thinking behind.
Yeah, poor Neil Campbell there. Dennis, was that just basically the front folding on him?
Yep, that looked that way, just lost the front as he went in, but we're looking now at Sean Gilfillan, who's got the better of John Dane, so it's Sean Gilfillan that's got himself up into 4th place now as he comes out of the hairpin. Andrew Tasker's the next man on his list, and can Gilfillan get himself on the podium and still holding his hips there?
Still standing there, the marshals finally get to him, he's still wondering what's happened. He'll be absolutely raging inside that helmet. He'll give himself a couple of minutes to calm down, but fortunately he's okay. The bike didn't take too much of a bad one.
You could see just as he went to the left of Leslie's Duncan, we were both chatting away, and he just saw the front just fold and slide away, but it's Darren Ross ahead of young Chrissy Duncan here. So we've got the big 1000 to get to 600 as they go through Butchers in towards the top of the Arnold Clark chicane. Right behind him is Alan Bryce still. So Alan Bryce, he's impressive on his comeback ride as well, and he's doing
Absolutely.
a good job.
Well, he's on it. That's the main thing. Gilfillan now well ahead of John Dean, but it's that young man Bruce Burney who is away on the front all on his own. But this is a very interesting battle between the two Shirlaw's bikes here, and you could put Alan Bryce in that bracket as well. The big ZX10 of Darren Ross against his teammate on the 600 Kawasaki, the Evo 600 Kawasaki.
Yeah, these guys looking well, aren't they? The bikes and the levers all matching, and they stand out, and Craig Shirlaw doing a good job. You could see the starter getting the last lap flag ready.
Factory, may I say that? Yes, they do look good, the Shirlaw's guys, don't they?
Just further back in the clubbing battle, it's Des Burns that's had a few podiums across the course of the weekend, but also you've got to be looking at the in fact, just as he's gone missing is Richard Hughes. So Richard Hughes, we've lost him in the beginning of this race somewhere, so I'm not sure what's happened to him. He's been a man that's been on a mission. He had a bit of an off yesterday, didn't he? And,
never noticed that myself, actually. I think he went down at Clark Corner yesterday quite fast, didn't he? So Bruce Burney in towards the hairpin on the Carnegie Fuel 79 bike. He looks up the main straight, and he will be getting a last lap flag this time, I'm pretty sure. There we see it, the yellow flag with the black cross saying that there's 1 lap to go. 2 markers about to get burned as we disappear back into the depths of the Darren Ross battle in 6th and 7th for Darren and Chrissy Duncan. Out the hairpin, Alan Bryce is possibly licking his chops thinking, I'm going to have the pair of them here.
Yep, for sure. He'll be trying to find a way past if he possibly can, but Bruce Burney's getting past the slow riders in this race so far as he goes through the top of the Arnold Clark chicane for the final time of the weekend, and he's going to make it 3 wins out of 3.
Steve Patterson going a lap down with Bob Storer there as the Donald McFadden getting caught with him with Andrew Tasker all over the... But Tasker's past him, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Tasker's actually gone through there, but look at the back of these. Is Sean Gilfillan as well. He's right in the mix as they come down the hairpin for the final time.
Burney is through the hairpin and away on the way towards the checker flag, but it's all action for the second spot as he has another big long double look to make sure there's nobody there. Bruce Burney with another fabulous wheelie. Andrew Tasker's going to hold second place, take it from Donald McFadden, and Sean Gilfillan, what a ride towards the end, almost getting third on the podium.
Yep, 51.3 second lap time of him, but it was Bruce Burney, Andrew Tasker, Donald McFadden, your 1, 2, 3. Sean Gilfillan, John Dean, Darren Ross and Christopher Duncan winning the clubman battle there ahead of Alan Bryce, Neil Brown and Des Burns. Mark Heritage and Kenny Patterson, well done to Kenny there, rounding out your top 12.
Bruce Big Dog Burney, another win. What's going on here? This is like a few years ago we used to see you dominate this class.
Yeah, just come back. I've not got no pressure and just going out and getting funky. Loving it. You know what I mean? Just it was great fun. I enjoyed it.
No challenge that time, really. You seemed to disappear. You had that little gap at the beginning and it just started to creep away, and then Donald and Andrew got in a wee tussle and you were gone.
Well, you've seen more than I did. I just got my head down. I had a couple of peeks through the back because my board kept saying 1 second. I went, I've got more than that, I think. So I had a little peeking. I do have that, but I just realised we don't have any 2s in our pit board. But besides all that, big thanks to Carnegie Fuels again. Massive. Get all your fuel for them. They're the top boys. And thank you very much for having us.
It's early days, but champion again?
I don't know. We'll see.
Well done, Bruce.
Thank you very much.
Andrew, damage limitation is what you called it, but hey, it could have been a race win.
We were close. It was good. Just struggling the last couple of laps. Need to work on my strength a wee bit, but I was right behind Donald. I was happier when he was right in front of me. Took my mind off my sore arm, and we just got lucky with the back markers on the last lap. There was Neil crashed in front of us. I hope he's all right. It was a bit of a big one, and yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
What is it? Arm pump that's the problem?
Yeah, I had surgery on it a couple of months ago, and it's just really sore.
Let's have a look. I see the Superbike guys wearing these. What's with the blue?
It's meant to help blood flow around your arm. I had the operation, got a scar down there. It's worked to an extent because I'm managing a lot further than I was before, but yeah, we'll go back and see what's happening. Some people are thinking that it's maybe caused by my back and injuries from before and stuff, but we'll work something out and we'll be
It's a
back.
funny one because you can't really not hang on to these machines, can you, with the speed of them? So you've got to hang on, but at the same time you're getting a sore arm.
Yeah, I was getting alongside Donald in the last couple of laps going towards the hairpin, and I just didn't have the strength to pass him. I got lucky with the back marker. I wasn't going to make a dangerous move and take us both out, because if I was to try with my arm and stuff, it might have caused that. So I was happy enough to sit there and be third, but the opportunity arose and just kind of took it a wee bit. So yeah, thanks to everybody.
Well done. You would have taken this on Thursday, huh?
Yeah, when we didn't have a bike on Thursday, I would have took that. But Stuart at YP's worked his miracles, and Mum and Dad and all the rest of it. Thanks so much, guys. It's pleasure to be here.
Good job.
Thanks, Joe.
Donald, third place, mugged, shall we say, at the end.
A little. It was my own fault for not being a bit more sort of forceful through the back markers, but it's my own fault, so nobody to blame but myself.
You'll have to head north happy though. Pole position, the pace is there, some good solid results. You've been on the podium, I think, in every single one of the races, so points-wise, you've got to be pleased.
Yeah, I'm pleased with that. I'm a wee bit annoyed at myself for not getting a win, but there's always the next time.
You're sharing a garage with Adrian Clark, who won. He's the only person this weekend who's won all 5 races, and when I walked into your garage yesterday, you told me it was a winner's garage. You'll need to make sure that happens next time.
Yeah, I'll have to. Aye.
Well done, Donald.
Okay, thank you.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the racing we have for today from the Scottish Superbikes, but what great action we've seen. A selection of different riders, nobody particularly standing out as a championship favourite as yet, so plenty more drama to unfold.